Have you ever felt a memory that wasn't yours? What if the deepest parts of your past belong to someone else entirely? I lie awake in the small twin bed, the threadbare sheets twisted around my calves like coils of rope, the faint rumble of the city humming through the cracked window. Streetlights flicker against my ceiling, casting long, jittery shadows that dance with every gust of wind. I count the seconds in my head, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, until sleep finally overtakes me. But tonight, sleep is only an intermission. It starts as a prickling behind my eyes, a brief flicker at the edges of my vision. Then, without warning, a face. A woman's face, eyes black as oil and rimmed with exhaustion. She doesn't smile, but her expression is pleading, terrified, etched deeper than any dream could manage. My heart stabs in my chest as her reflection shatters into a carousel of images a lifetime away from my own experiences. A dimly lit corridor, walls peeling, a single bare bulb swinging overhead. A wedding dress, brilliant white but slashed with a smear of dark red across the bodice. The swell of an ocean wave, crashing into a rocky cliff, and the echo of someone crying out in dread. And then a voice, thin, ragged, as if it's being spoken through a cracked megaphone, "You promised." My blood turns to ice. I bolt upright, the sheets falling to the floor. My heart hammers so loud I can feel each beat throbbing in my ears. I gasp for air, fumbling for my phone on the nightstand, but the battery icon is dead. In the silence, only my breath rattles in my throat. I swallow hard, trying to make sense of the vision, but her face, her plea, refuses to fade. It claws at my mind. In the bathroom mirror the next morning, I see something peculiar, a thin scar just above my wrist. I've never cut myself there, never scratched it. It's as if the mark appeared overnight, an echo of pain I can't recall. I press my fingertips against the faint ridge, the metal cold against my skin, and for a moment, just a flicker, I imagine that sting was someone else's. Days stretch into a rhythmic cycle, wake, work, dinner alone, restless sleep, repeat. But the memories invade at every opportunity, quiet moments, dark rooms, the back of a taxi. They surge through me without warning, a tidal wave of someone else's existence. I'm hurtling down a highway at dusk, the steering wheel rattling beneath my palms. Metallic crunches, glass shattering, the world folding in on itself. I jerk awake on a stranger's couch, sweat-soaked and terrified, convinced I drove the car. But I sold my old hatchback 2 years ago and haven't been behind a wheel since. Another night, I'm at a hospital bedside. My hand grips a frail one, ice cold to the touch. The monitor beeps steadily, and a tear tracks down my cheek. I remember begging, "Don't leave me," but the face I'm watching fade is not mine. On the street, a woman calls out, "Mara." My head snaps up, heart twisting. I give her a polite nod, but she scuttles away, eyes wide with confusion. At the corner cafe, a bald man behind the counter watches me approach. He leans forward, voice rough like gravel. "You look lost." I blink. "Sorry?" He drops his voice. "You're not Mara. But you know her." I choke on the name. Mara. It echoes the first face I saw. My stomach lurches, acid rising in my throat. This is no dream. By the end of the second week, I'm frantic. During my commute, at the park, even in grocery queues, I sense him, a dark silhouette lurking at the edge of my vision. He stands motionless, hat brim shadowing his face, his overcoat buttoned tight. Whenever I turn, he's gone, yet I can't shake the feeling of his gaze like a weight at my back. One rainy evening, I prank myself into courage. Under the jaundiced glare of a street lamp, I wait on the sidewalk, pretending to check my phone. He rounds the corner, as always. My pulse spikes. I stride forward. "You," I hiss, voice low enough to keep passerby from noticing. "Who are you?" For a long heartbeat, he doesn't respond. The rain beads on his hat, gliding off his shoulders. Finally, he tilts his head. The streetlight outlines a jagged scar slashing down his right cheek, identical to the one on my left wrist. My breath catches. Without a word, he spins and melts into the alley. I reach out, but my fingers graze only damp air. I refuse to be cowed. Night after night, I stake out the cafe. I watch until he emerges, black coat, hat low, and tail him at a distance into a deserted loading dock. My chest hammers as I approach. Tell me, what happened to me? I demand when I'm close enough to see the crease of his coat. My voice trembles in the hush. He remains silent. Then, in a voice as soft as the rain, he says, "You took her place." I laugh, a brittle sound. Stop talking in riddles. He turns his face toward me at last. Eyes deep set, haunted. He exhales, as though carrying a lifetime of regret. You've been living her final week. You're borrowing time. I stumble back. Borrowing? You died, he says. She lived on with your face. I stagger, the world tilting. My knees give out. No, that's insane. From inside his coat, he pulls a photograph. It's me, wearing a cream-colored blouse and standing in a sunlit apartment, her apartment. I stare at the date scrawled on the back, February 12, 2025. 3 months ago. Home no longer feels like sanctuary. The lock clicks and clacks as I double and triple bolt the door. I draw the blinds, reinforce windows with tape. But at night, sleep comes whether I want it or not, and with it, the memories burst forth in violent torrents. I'm at my own wedding, except it's not mine. I'm laughing as a tall man smiles at me, eyes crinkling with joy. Then a shriek. I whirl around. The man's face contorts, gun in hand. Metal clicks. The bullet slams into my chest. I wake choking on tears, sheets drenched in sweat. In the bathroom mirror, I barely recognize the hollow-eyed woman staring back. I reach out and touch the scar on my wrist, where a trickle of blood now seeps. My reflection recoils. I pull out my phone and frantically search news archives. Young woman Mara Collins found dead in apartment, February 2025. Article after article, a police blotter, a local blogger speculating suicide, a family statement inconsolable. The case went cold for lack of leads. My stomach twists. I shut the screen and press my face against the cool tiles. At that moment, I know something I cannot unknow. The hallway, the light, the dress, the gun. In the nightmare hallway I've seen so many times, at the end, stood me, Mara, over her dead body. I am no longer asking what happened. I know. I killed her. This thought lands like a stone in my gut, weighing me down 1,000 feet under. Yet as the words echo in my mind, a bitter clarity settles. I must face this truth, however impossible it seems. Denial is a luxury I no longer have. 7. The unraveling. I begin searching Mara's world, piecing together the life I've appropriated. I find her old apartment building, its brick facade dressed in graffiti and ivy. I cross the threshold and feel a jolt, as if electricity arcs between me and the chipped walls. I knock on the door marked 3B. After an agonizing minute, it opens. A young woman with tear-streaked cheeks blinks at me. Mara, she whispers. Oh my God, you're alive. Her name is Elise, Mara's sister. She lunges forward, arms flailing, and I stumble back. I'm not, I begin, but words die on my tongue as her wail tears through the hallway. Within hours, the police are involved. Detective Alvarez studies my face in disbelief. You look exactly like the victim, he says, voice hollow. He lays out the evidence, fingerprints on the murder weapon, CCTV footage of me at the building, eyewitness reports. My throat constricts. How could this be? I sold my face, my hands, my name. Yet here they are, condemning me for a crime I never consciously committed. I slip away from the station in a fog of panic, navigating the city's backstreets. Everywhere I turn, I see fragments of Mara's life, her favorite flower shop, the coffee cart where she sat every morning, the park bench where she read paperback mysteries. Each landmark pulses with memory, some mine, some hers, all indistinguishable now. 8. Psychological trigger. The boundaries of my own identity blur beneath the weight of memories not my own. I wake gasping, trapped underwater, clawing at air. In the rain-soaked streets, her voice follows me, remember me. I find myself at the cemetery, heart hammering as I stand before the fresh mound of dirt. The headstone reads, Mara A. Collins, 1987 to 2025. Beneath her name, a single rose lies wilted in the gray grass. I drop to my knees and pound the granite with clenched fists. Sobs tear from my chest, each one carrying sorrow that feels like betrayal. Betrayal of her, of myself, of the life I thought was mine. My hands leave bloody smudges on the cool stone. Night falls, and I return to the apartment that still holds her essence. The door creaks open, as though remembering my touch. Inside, time has paused in tragic elegance. A half-drunk glass of Merlot sits on the coffee table, a music box plays a lullaby dissonant with loneliness, and a single candle melts wax onto a dusty shelf. I move through each room as if guided by an unseen hand, following the breadcrumbs of memory. In the bedroom, I find a battered cassette player and a tape labeled "For You." My fingers hover before inserting it. Her voice crackles through the speakers, soft, urgent. If you're hearing this, I'm gone. They wanted to erase me, but they couldn't erase the truth. I've hidden proof in our place, find it before they do. Please. The message ends. Silence drapes around me like a funeral shroud. My heart races. A floorboard creaks. I whirl around, breath caught in my throat. The shadowy figure stands in the doorway, face still hidden beneath the brim of his hat. They know you're here, he warns. You're not safe. She left you the only way to prove her innocence. His words shatter my fear into determined shards. I scour the apartment with desperate precision, riffling through drawers, peering behind books, tilting potted plants. Finally, in the corner of the living room, a loose floorboard yields to my hammering. Beneath, wrapped in plastic, is a small flash drive. My pulse soars. I clutch it in my hand, proof of everything. But as I rise, the door slams open behind me. Two men in dark suits and badges fill the frame, guns drawn. Freeze, one barks. Panic claws at my chest. My legs tremble. From behind them, the man in the trench coat emerges. In one fluid motion, he throws a hood over my head and grips my arm. Trust no one, he hisses, tugging me backward. We move. We vanish into the night, gunfire echoes behind us like distant thunder. We race through a tangle of back alleys, footsteps slapping against damp cobblestones. My mind reels, memories and reality colliding in a dizzying blur. The hood slips, and I glimpse his face for the first time, young, haunted, with the same jagged scar on his cheek. I'm Nate, he says breathlessly. Mara was my fiancée. My voice cracks, disbelief and anguish mingling. You knew her? He nods, eyes dark with sorrow. She uncovered a conspiracy, politicians, corporate figures. They couldn't let her expose them. They staged her death as a suicide. He presses the flash drive into my hand. This has everything. We go to the FBI. I hesitate, the weight of the drive like a stone in my palm. Memories flicker, my hands shaking on the gun, the barrel hot. Could I trust him? Or is it another shadowy trick? In a safe house illuminated by a single desk lamp, we plug the drive into a laptop. The screen floods with documents, emails detailing payoffs, spreadsheets of illicit transactions, hidden camera footage of clandestine meetings. My breath catches at each file. Then we open a folder labeled Final Recording. A grainy video begins. Mara stands in her apartment arguing with a suited man whose face remains obscured. His voice rumbles threats, she pleads for justice. He draws a gun, and in the flash of the muzzle, she moves first. My hand, steady and determined, squeezed the trigger. My lungs seize. Tears blur the screen as I gasp, watching myself, in her body, fight back. In that moment, the boundary between our identities shatters. Her courage, her terror, her final act of defiance, they are mine now. Nate's voice breaks through my shock. The FBI will protect you. I stare at the photo of us, two identical women, smiling with hope. They'll see me as the killer. He leans forward, eyes fierce. Not with this evidence. You have to finish what she started. I close my eyes, exhale slowly. For Mara. For myself. I nod. Together, we deliver the files to an FBI agent known for taking down corruption. Within hours, field teams fan out, raids on corporate offices, arrests of shadowy figures once thought untouchable. Headlines scream, massive political scandal uncovered, justice for Mara Collins. But the cameras still hunt me, images of my face splashed across news tickers as the presumed murderer who turned state's witness. I steel myself for the courtroom. In the packed gallery, I sit beside Nate as the prosecutor lays out the conspiracy. Video footage plays on a giant screen. I see Mara laughing with friends, bargaining at a farmer's market, then the final confrontation. Then my face, resolute, avenging. The courtroom is silent. Even the air seems to hold its breath. The judge pounds the gavel, not guilty. A wave of relief crashes through me, mingled with grief so profound it staggers my soul. Outside the courthouse, cameras flash and microphones thrust forward. Reporters shout questions. I step aside as Nate wraps an arm around me. He looks at me with a mixture of pride and sorrow. You did it, he murmurs. I close my eyes against the brightness, letting tears slip free. We did it, I correct, voice hollow but honest. I couldn't have done this without you. In the days that follow, I begin the slow process of disentangling my identity from Mara's. I change my hairstyle, alter my wardrobe, even dye my eyes with colored contacts for a while, desperate to reclaim a semblance of who I once was. But somewhere deep inside, I carry her courage, her compassion, her final act of resistance against injustice. I visit her family's home, offering what comfort I can. We place flowers on her grave together, white lilies, her favorite. When we turn to leave, her mother grips my hand and whispers, "Thank you, my dear. Thank you for giving her justice." Months later, at dawn, I stroll down a quiet city street. The pavement glistens with overnight rain. Shop windows yawn open, preparing for a new day. I pause before a glass pane and see my reflection, familiar features, but with a depth in my eyes that wasn't there before. I press my palm against the cool glass, feeling the echo of two lives converging beneath my skin. The question I asked in that first moment still lingers, but now I have my answer. Have I ever felt a memory that wasn't mine? Yes, and they have reshaped me. What if the deepest parts of your past belong to someone else? I learned that sometimes, your identity can fracture, recombine, and emerge stronger, a mosaic of stories, bound together by the will to survive and the courage to seek truth. As the sun peeks over the rooftops, I whisper into the empty street, "I'm sorry. Thank you." Because the past may not always be yours, but how you carry it forward is your choice.